Dakota. I worked at a grain elevator for this guy named Wayne. He was a really good guy. So I took the Colorado River all the way down through the Grand Canyon and did rapids, which was by far one of the scariest things I've ever done. And I took the Colorado down into Mexico, Golfo, where I got stuck in Salvation Mountain, the slabs.
What's the N stand for?
North.
Alaska? Son, what the hell are you running from?
You know, I could ask you the same question. Except, I already know the answer.
Oh, you do ya?
I do, Mr. Franz. You gotta get back out in the world. Get out of that lonely house, that little workshop of yours. Get back out on the road. Really? You're gonna live a long time, Ron. You should make a radical change in your lifestyle. I mean, the core of man's spirit comes from new experiences. And there you are, stubborn old man, sitting on your butt.
Sitting on my butt?
Yeah.
Ha! I'll show you, sitting on my butt. Stubborn old man. I'll show you.
Come on, then. Come on.
Sitting on my butt. Ha! Yeah.
Come on, old man, come climb it.
Sitting on my butt.
Come on, keep going.
Ah. Ah.
You're doing great. Keep going. Keep going, Ron.
Yeah.
Can anybody see this? God, are you watching this right now?
Yeah.
You all right?
Ah, you little pinhead. Oh. I'm gonna miss you when you go.
I'll miss you too, Ron. But you're wrong if you think that the joy of life comes principally from human relationships. God's placed it all around us. It's in everything, in anything we can experience. People just need to change the way they look at those things.
Yeah, I'm gonna take stock of that. No, I am. I am. But I want to tell you something. From the bits and pieces I've put together, you know, from what you told me about your family, your mother and your dad. And I know you got your problems with the church, too. But there's some kind of bigger thing we can all appreciate. And it sounds like you don't mind calling it God. But when you forgive, you love. And when you love, God's light shines on you.
Holy shit.
I told you about that language. I told you so.
So, Grayson, that scene is really one of the more powerful scenes in the movie.
Big time.
Why does it hit you so hard? Why do you love that scene?
There's a lot about it. You know, I think one of the main things that I get thematically from it is you hear Alex/Chris say, you know, happiness doesn't come from relationships, But one of the last things he writes down is happiness is meant to be shared.
Right.
So he's kind of thinks he has it all figured out, and it takes a major point in his life to realize the other side of that. And I also just think that like the way he explains the world and how he looks at it, I just feel like him when he explains it. I don't like things. I don't like to be told how things are. I like to figure it out. My mom always tells this story about when I was 2, and I was the kid who I didn't want any help going down the stairs. I didn't want any help getting off the curb onto the street. And so one time she goes, all right, fine. And I busted my nose, and I still have a scar from it. But I'd rather it be that way. I just would. That's how I like to live my life. I really have to figure things out for myself. And I think Alex lived his life that way. And I respect that. It means a lot to me. And that scene is really special from a relationship standpoint too, that they both had an impact on each other. Because I'd imagine he's probably thinking about all those people in his last days and his last time, but Ron has to be at the forefront.
Yeah.
If based off the movie, obviously we don't know for a fact, but that last thing he writes down, happiness is meant to be shared. It really is. Which is why I say, going for walks in nature by yourself, do it. It's very healing. But also, if you have someone special, do that stuff together. That really ignites passion and excitement and, stimulates good conversation. And maybe while you're doing that, you can talk about being challenged and what you guys can do for each other to make sure that you are living and not just being, truly exist in the world.
Yeah. Several years ago, I went to Colorado and drove up Pikes Peak, and it was awesome. It's one of the only mountains over 14,000 feet that you could actually drive up. But when I got to the top, I was by myself. Like I had to give my camera to somebody else to take my picture and stuff. And so when I got back, I called my wife. I was trying to call my wife, my daughter, because I was like, oh my gosh, it's amazing up here. And that was one of those that actually interestingly led to that Cleveland trip. Because I was like, I want to do more adventures with you. Because it doesn't mean as much if I'm just doing it by myself. And, it's hard. Like you see Ron on that walk up, he slips. He gets up to the top. He almost falls over backwards, and Alex has to grab him. But what he's being able to be honest, like you said, is I'm going to miss you. This is hard for me. And as we've talked about through the podcast, that idea of truth, he doesn't back down from telling Alex the things he needs to hear. It's like, he's like, I know you've got some stuff with your family and with the church, but forgiveness is important. And the really cool thing in that scene, how he said, the light of God shines on you and the sun comes out from behind the cloud and lights him up. You see that exact same thing in the last scene of the movie, which I think we're actually going to go back to our podcast to finish talking about. So check us out at Men at the Movies podcast, and you can see the rest of our conversation about Into the Wild there.